Welcome to the 7th Annual Private Equity and Employee Share Ownership Symposium, sponsored by the Institute for the Study of Employee Ownership and Profit Sharing, located at the School of Management and Labor Relations at Rutgers University, the State University of New Jersey. We are delighted to include this exploration of the use of private equity in creating broad-based employee ownership among the many and ever-growing number of programs offered by the Institute. I would like to now do my thank yous. I will start with the sponsors, of which there are many, thankfully. First, I'd like to thank KKR and Ownership Works, JP Morgan, HP Global, In Tandem Capital Partners, Paraline Capital Partners, Morgan Lewis, American Working Capital, and Blue Wolf Capital Partners. I should also mention that with this event, we are introducing, for the first time in public at least, Professor Bill Castellano in his new role as Executive Director of the Institute. And finally, I would like to thank Professor Chris Michael, also Senior Director of the Institute, for organizing and chairing this event. I wish you a really great event.
Well, welcome to our 7th Annual Private Equity and Employee Share Ownership Symposium. I'd like to give a very special thanks to our sponsors, KKR and Ownership Works, JP Morgan, In Tandem Capital Partners, HB Capital, Paraline Capital Partners, American Working Capital, Morgan Lewis, and Blue Wolf. Again, a very special thanks. I don't think there's been a more important time for a symposium like this. Today, all organizations are facing unprecedented disruptions, right? Creating increasing need to innovate, transform their business models and strategies. We're seeing many companies who have business owners nearing retirement with no viable business succession plan in place, which can unfortunately result in a tremendous loss of wealth and jobs. And of course, for decades, we've been witnessing growing income and wealth inequality. Here at the Rutgers Institute for the Study of Employee Ownership and Profit Sharing, I'm pleased to say I'm the Associate Director of the Institute. I'm also a professor here at the School of Management and Labor Relations. We've been researching these issues for decades and have clearly shown the impact that employee ownership can have, reducing income and wealth inequality, and also helping organizations achieve strategic and financial objectives. And within this context, I think private equity is playing a critically important role, assisting business owners seeking an exit strategy and increasingly developing innovative employee incentive programs. So at today's Private Equity and Employee Share Ownership Symposium, we're really looking forward to hearing from industry leaders, sharing their experiences, providing case studies of various transactions, involving the use of private capital, and more importantly, broad-based employee ownership and profit-sharing plans. So this symposium clearly aligns with the Institute's primary objective to increase employee ownership. And we do that through a variety of mechanisms. First and foremost, of course, is our support of research. We have supported over the years over 250 research fellows from major research universities from around the world. We bring those individuals together at various workshops and symposiums, one at the East Coast, one on the West Coast, where they can share their research and collaborate with other thought leaders. We also have established the Sharers Laboratory, which is the nation's first academic research initiative dedicated to the empirical study of equity compensation. And our second objective is to share our research primarily with state and federal policymakers to help them understand the importance of employee ownership. Together with the Aspen Institute, each year we host an employee ownership ideas forum at the U.S. Capitol, where we present our research to Congresspeople. And we also hold a meeting at the Washington offices of the Aspen Institute. Not surprisingly, another key objective of ours is teaching, helping to educate students that are interested in the various professional opportunities that support employee ownership. And to that end, we have established a curriculum library for employee ownership. We call that CLEO. It provides a vast amount of teaching material, videos and case studies and syllabi that can help instructors and professors that are interested in teaching these topics. The Institute has also recently began a coordinated activity called the University Consortium of Employee Ownership, which is the first international academic network that's going to be dedicated to fostering collaboration among major educational institutions and other university-based employee ownership initiatives from around the world. And then, of course, lastly, to build awareness. Primarily build awareness within the practitioner and business owner communities. And to that end, we have the New Jersey, New York Center for Employee Ownership. Through its advisory board, we're also able to provide technical assistance for business owners that are interested in learning more about employee ownership strategies. And we have a variety of educational type programs. So I'm very much looking forward to hearing the great presenters share their experiences within this space. And I'd like to, again, thank our sponsors as well as our presenters. And I hope all of you enjoy the symposium. Thank you.
Welcome to the symposium. We're so glad that you're here. My name is Chris Michael. I'm a senior director at the Institute for the Study of Employee Ownership and Profit Sharing at Rutgers University, where I'm also an assistant professor at the School of Management and Labor Relations. We have a wonderful morning for you here today. We have 5 transaction case studies involving private equity and private credit firms, mezzanine firms, family offices, where employee share ownership figures into the transaction in some way. We also have a very thoughtful analysis or two of industry trends. We have a legal talk on considerations relevant specifically to private equity ESOP transactions. And we have a short presentation by a startup that is working to make some innovations in this field. We hope that you're careful to scrutinize the financial motivations and other motivations of the investors on these transactions, as well as the outcomes of these transactions, and consider whether or not these types of deal structures would work for your firms. And if you think that they might, we encourage you to reach out to the presenters who are here with us this morning. We're certain that they would be glad to field your calls and your inquiries, and perhaps you might at some future time decide that it might be worth collaborating with some of the presenters who are here with us this morning. So today we'll begin with a State of the Field talk by Aziz Eltash and Jeff Zolkin, who lead the Capital Market Division and ESOP and Advisory Division at Stout. Please also think about whether or not you have a transaction that you've worked on in the past year or two that you're closing this year end that might be a good fit for next year's symposium. And if that's the case, please do reach out to me. My email is christopher.michael@rutgers.edu. Other than that, I hope that you might participate in the live chat feed that you'll see alongside the video this morning, the event this morning. And finally, the symposium would simply not be able to happen without the kindness and generosity of our sponsors. So I'd like to thank all of them. KKR and Ownership Works, JP Morgan, HB Capital, and Tandem Capital Partners, Powerline Capital Partners, Morgan Lewis, American Working Capital, and Blue Wolf Capital Partners. We're so thankful again for your support. We're also, of course, so glad that you're all here. And so that's it. Without further ado, Aziz Eltash and Jeff Zolkin from Stout's Capital Market and ESOP and ERISA advisory practices. Thank you all so much.